Good evening, my fair lady. I know that it's decorum for one of your sisters to introduce me, but they seem a bit preoccupied for a moment. And I dare say that all of them will be swept up with partners for the rest of the night. Oh, I apologize, miss. I did not mean that as a slight. I know not of any lady, no matter how fair, that never went without a partner. Oh, come now. I hardly think that you should feel ashamed of it. At any rate, I had been told that you much prefer the company of books. Very wise of you, I think. After all, reading offers far less in the way of stepped-on toes. As I'm sure you can tell, I have never much been inclined to balls myself. There's far too much fanfare. And you can never get to know somebody properly at a ball. Only their footwork. And I think there are just as many wonderful ladies with club toes, don't you? You are quite right. I've never been much of a dancer myself. How did you ever guess? Was it my general disdain for balls? Or did you notice that I had been stuck to that back doorway all evening? You will have to forgive me. I know that I ought not talk with such scorn, especially when your father has been kind enough to host me. But one cannot help but wish that there were quieter manners for entertaining large groups of people. Yes, libraries can be just as beautiful as ballrooms, and far less noisy. Well, your sisters might disagree. However, I doubt any of them have reflected on that matter half as much as you have. I did not intend to imply that you are often partnerless, miss. I merely meant to suggest that, though I have known you only for a short time, I have gathered that you are particularly thoughtful. At any rate, I approached you to ask if you might care for a walk to escape the frivolity of this whole affair for just a moment. Admittedly, in speaking with you, I've become decreasingly confident in the success of my endeavor. But if you still have me, thank you, miss. I will much enjoy your company. Care to show me to the, garden? Well, yes, I suppose that it would have been proper for me to speak with your father first. But I assumed that you would not mind. And your eyes tell me that I'm correct. It's quite all right. You needn't hide your hatred of him from me. I have never found disrespect to be unbecoming. At least not when that disrespect is earned. And he has more than earned it. Even in the 3 days I have known him, it has become apparent that he favors your sisters. He speaks so highly of them, while you so often seem to remain an afterthought. I know it is not my place to speak of such things, but I believe it to be the truth. I can tell that your mind knows it as well, even if your lips would dare not speak of it. I saw that dirty look you gave him when he asked you to stop playing piano. You wanted to tell him off. I wish that you would have too. I thought that your playing was lovely. I know that he wanted you to give your sister a turn, but she hardly was ready to perform for company. She only knew simple tunes, quiet melodies. They were all the same ones I've heard young ladies play in every parlor. Well, yes, the songs are pleasant, but common. Most ladies only ever learn the few verses they need to delight some gentleman who is already far too taken with them. But not you, though. You must be a natural talent. Otherwise, you would have been practicing for ages to learn songs as complex. Oh, so it was practice. Well, that's all the more admirable. After all, talent is given, but perseverance, that is chosen. Therefore, the latter is much better to hold, but far more difficult to attain. You may think that I am merely being polite, but I assure that I'm not. I am not one to lie, especially not to the night air. And not to a woman that I deeply admire. I just told you that my lips will not honor any omissions tonight. So I see no reason to conceal the fact that I admire you. Besides, someone must compensate for your family's indifference toward you. It seems such a shame to have your talent ignored. Well, I know that they find you playing, but you certainly are not in terms of perseverance. Or, I'm sorry, was there another sense of playing that you were worried about? Perhaps it is a bit unconventional of me, but I have never looked kindly on men who compare their daughters' appearances. Beauty is far too subjective of a matter, and it is better judged by warm hearts than critical eyes. I would never call you plain, though. I must be honest, if I may speak freely. Please excuse my nerves. I think that your family lacked forethought by attempting to pair me with your younger sister. While she is perfectly nice, as the elder, you should have been chosen first. It would have been the proper thing to do. And, well, it would have been the choice that I would have preferred. Although my time here has been brief, I am certain that your sister and I would not be a good match. However, I would quite like to dance with you. Well, yes, I was being honest when I said that I detested dancing. But I do not think that I would mind it half as much with you in my arms. Oh, no. There's no need to go back inside. The moonlight is much better company than prying eyes. Don't you agree? And I dare say that your company is much better than either. So, may I have your hand? Thank you, my dear. Now, shall we entertain the stars?